my name is Erica and welcome to my channel Tsundere, where I talk about anything and everything having to do with anime. And in today's video, I'm talking about my experience at Anime Frontier in Fort Worth, Texas. Now, this is my third con overall. My first con was at MetroCon, which I did a video of that at the beginning of the summer, so you can go check that out if you haven't. My second con was at MegaCon in Orlando, but I never filmed that, so it doesn't really count. And then this one is my third, but it's the first one that I attended out of state. This was also my first time in Texas. It was a really cool experience. I was invited by my really good friend Lisa from The Wonder of Anime, who you should go check out her channel if you haven't. She does really cool manga reviews, anime reviews, all that good stuff, and she's just a really sweet person. She also has a podcast, and she also blogs. She has a whole bunch of stuff to do. So if you like to read, if you like to watch, if you like to listen, she has it all. So it was kind of cool how it happened. Lisa had just texted me out of nowhere and was like, hey, I'm gonna be doing press at Anime Frontier. So she invited me, and I love hanging out with her. Every time we hang out, it's in a different city. So I knew that it was just gonna be a lot of fun. We always have a lot of fun together. So I was like, yeah, sure. We ended up getting to Fort Worth, Texas around Thursday evening. We didn't go to bed till 2 a.m. because every time we're together, we talk for hours and hours and hours. We're both very talkative people. And the next morning, we got a few things done, got ourselves ready, then had some mimosas, which were really good.
This is our, I'm scared. I know, I hate this part. So maybe, this may not.
I got glasses.
Me too, what you talking about?
But it's a way else on the side of you.
It's not like, it's not coming. You know, I'm scared.
I'm trying, but it's like not.
There it is, it's coming. There we go.
I don't know what that
Cheers.
was.
And then we got an Uber, went over to Anime Frontier. The first thing that we did when we got to Anime Frontier is we walked around, we looked at a lot of the cool art. Of course, at every anime convention, they have like the really cool cars that have all the anime decorations and stuff on it. There was an Attack on Titan little mini art museum thing that they had going, and just a lot of cool stuff. But the first panel that we went to was one hosted by, I hope I say your name right, Samantha Inoue Harte, who is an animator who's worked for Disney. She also animates on a lot of anime, and she works primarily on like the Japanese side of things. She's also a voice actress, and she's been in the industry for decades. And her panel was super informative. She gave a lot of good advice for people of color who are trying to get into the industry, whether as a manga creator, an animator, a voice actor, what have you. One of the biggest takeaways is to, instead of trying to reach up the ladder at people who you feel might have more followers than you, or they have more experience than you, like reach for the people that are kind of in the trenches with you, you know, that are reached beside you, not necessarily above.
Before I got into anime, I worked over at, I worked in several animation studios. One of them was Little Leaf Entertainment. The owner of that studio had previously been one of the co-owners of Heart Texas Productions, which was the biggest animation studio in all of Texas. They're known for Titan and E, Prince of Egypt, the original Space Jam, Alexander J. Crazy Nights, a lot of the classic animated 2D animated features. And when I got brought into the animation studio, there was not very many computers, actually. So there was like me, a guy named Corey Coleman. Corey was actually one of the guys that taught me animation. So yeah, I owe a lot to that man. I noticed after working at several of the studios that I wasn't getting paid very much. And I found out during a lunch break, one of the interns walked in and was like, oh, I can't afford to go out to the group lunches anymore. And I was like, well, why don't you just brown bag it like me and all the other girls? And he's like, yeah, I guess I can start doing that, but it sucks. I'm like, being paid $9 an hour. And at that time, I was being paid $7. As a supervising animator, I was being paid $2 less than the interns that I was training. So I I was a whistleblower and got in trouble, got fired for it. And so I decided, you know what, screw this. I'm just gonna do my own studio. I'm gonna get myself a living wage because I found out that in animation, that was the only way that a POC like myself would be able to get my own living wage. And actually, that, Corey Coleman started The Real Deal. And then after that, Real Deal became The Spill.
It was a really interesting panel because it was nice seeing a woman of color who's been in the industry for a really long time and have all this great advice, and also saying a lot of the same things that Lisa and I talk about. Lisa and I are both content creators who, we're starting small, we're doing our own things, but we work together and we find other people who are kind of in the same space as we are and work with them, and it's been really an eye-opening experience. Like, if you've been following my channel since the beginning, you've seen it's grown a lot, and it's because I've worked with amazing people who are kind of in the same space that I'm in, whether it's Anime After Dark or new content creators on Twitter or social media, or collabing with Lisa on her podcast and things like that, and it's really helped. So just seeing Samantha say some of the same things was really affirming. And then after the panel, we went out back to Artist Alley where they had all the art and things I was talking about before. They also had like this line of booths with all the different voice actors that you could get autographs or go talk to them or take pictures with them. So of course, one of the first things I did was I wanted to go see Inés Quiñones again so I could thank her for helping me out with my anime dubs and how it's been impacted by COVID video, which you should watch if you haven't. It's probably the most informative video I have, and it's so eye-opening how the pandemic has impacted the dubbing industry, and that video would not be what it is if it wasn't for Inés. So I want to go say hi and say thank you to her, and I did. I of course did not take a picture with her because this always happens. I get so swept up in the moment of talking to people that I forget to take a picture, but I swear it happened. I also met Zeno Robinson, who voices Hawks in My Hero Academia and Vanitas in Case Study Vanitas, and a bunch of other characters. I also met AJ Beckles, who you know as Takemichi from Tokyo Revengers. Did not take a picture with any of them. Did not do that.
Bruh.
So the biggest highlight of that day, definitely for Lisa, we met Robbie Damon, who voices Megami from Jujutsu Kaisen. He is also the voice of Tuxedo Mask from Sailor Moon. And I'm going to show you a picture that we all took together with him, and you're going to see, even through her mask, just how happy Lisa was to see him. He had been one of her earlier guests on her podcast, I believe, and it was a really cool experience for her getting to say hi to him and meet him in person, and he was so excited to see her. He actually stepped outside the booth just to take a picture with us, and it was really sweet, and Lisa was ecstatic. And then my final highlight for my first day at Anime Frontier was finally getting to meet my friends at Studio Maho, the creators behind Blade Titans and God Punch. I love their work, and I definitely think you should check them out. I'll have a link to their website in the description. They're an incredibly talented group of people, and I was so happy to finally meet them because we interact a lot on Twitter, but it's different to finally meet them in person, and I can't wait to see them at DreamCon. So that was the first day of Anime Frontier. The second day we started a little bit late because both Lisa and I had stuff to do earlier in the day, but once we did get there, I was able to get this really cool Yu Yu Hakusho poster. It's made to look like those 25-cent comics that you get at like comic book shops and stuff like that. So I really like when artists have these cool interpretations of different anime and all that, and they put their own spin on it. This is a really cool poster. It was like probably one of my new favorite ones because Yu Yu Hakusho is my #1 favorite anime of all time. I also did a video on the music references in Yu Yu Hakusho, so go check that out if you haven't. This is going to be hung up somewhere, but I don't know where. I have cats, so I'm hoping they don't knock it down. They probably will. So after collecting some really cool art, Lisa and I went to a panel hosted by Kiera, Please, who you probably know on social media. She does like a lot of modeling. She also is a Savage Fenty ambassador. She has a lot of cool like anime content creating too, and she's on TikTok and all that. And she hosted this panel that featured AJ Beckles and Zeno Robinson. So I got to see them again, and it was a really fun panel. She asked some great questions. The crowd asked some really good questions. I also have a really interesting clip from the panel.
Who's your favorite sailor?
Mars.
Yes!
She used to do this, and like in the old animations, it would kind of of shake a little bit. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. They changed it, but like in the like OG, her fingers would shake when she did. I thought it was the coolest thing.
We're on the same kind of time.
I knew I respected it. I'm really Naruto themed panel here, but Sasuke's, for the most part, without, you know, spoiling if anybody hasn't seen Naruto, isn't the most lovable. Toxic but lovable. I mean, it can be lovable to you. I don't love Sasuke, you know? You heard it here, folks. No, we're gonna move on to come back to you. Oh, Gon is actually very toxic.
Gon?
Yeah.
Hunter.
Yeah.
It's a little toxic.
America explains.
Okay. Because Gon, I feel like, is not the most mentally apt human. He's very sweet and he's a great kid, but he's a little disturbed.
And then after that panel was probably the biggest highlight of my day, and that was meeting my friend Cosplay Plaza. I know her real name, but I don't know if she would want her real name featured in the video, but she goes by @Cosplay Plaza on Twitter. And it was really cool meeting her in person. She was dressed as Power from Chainsaw Man, and she had her friend with her who was dressed as Makima, and they both looked amazing and they were so sweet. And I definitely encourage you to go follow her on Twitter. She does some really cool content, and she's trying to create a safe space for Black and POC cosplayers, especially Black Latinos. So, you know, we don't get a whole lot of representation, so she wanted to create a space for all of us to be able to go and show off our cosplays and network and content create together, and I can't wait to see what she does with her platform. So definitely go check her out, and it was so great meeting her. She's so sweet. So that was day 2 of the con. I did not stay for day 3 because I had to fly back home because I have work, as adults do, unfortunately. But overall, it was a really cool experience. I definitely recommend, if you didn't go this year, definitely go next year. It was sponsored by Crunchyroll, had a lot of amazing panels, great artists, and it was a really well organized con, especially when you consider that we are still in a pandemic. One of the things that I think is important to consider before you go to any con in the pandemic is to look into what their safety protocols are. And Anime Frontier definitely did their due diligence. You had to have your vaccination card if you wanted to go. If you did not have a vaccination card, then you had to have proof of a negative COVID test within the last 72 hours. You had to have your mask on, regardless if you were vaccinated or not. You had to have your mask on when you were on the premises. It wasn't super crowded, so it was really easy to keep, you know, a distance from people so you're not packed in like sardines. And just getting in and out, the way they had the lines going in, it was just very well organized. It was very well done, and I really appreciate it. Another thing to take away from this is that, granted, I've only been to a few cons, so I don't really know if this is, you know, common across the board, but they had a lot of panels, not just about meeting your favorite voice actors, but actually like industry knowledge-based panels, if that makes sense. So you had Samantha, who hosted the diversity in anime and manga, and she actually gave great advice for people of color trying to get into the industry. There was also another panel that we unfortunately did not get to go to that was basically about how to pitch your anime or manga to a studio. And I definitely know a lot of creators who could benefit from that. And it was just a lot of cool business-based panels as well. So if you want to go somewhere to network, get some industry knowledge, and of course meet your favorite voice actors or cosplayers, etc., definitely Anime Frontier is the place to go. So that was my experience. I had a lot of fun. I just want to say thank you to Lisa for inviting me out. I did not even think to go to Anime Frontier if it wasn't for her. So yeah, it was a really fun experience and definitely a good con to end the year. And yeah, so that's really all I have for you today. This will probably be either my last or second to last video of 2021. Either way, I will see you guys in 2022. I have a lot of cool stuff planned. And don't forget, I'm trying to get up to 500 subscribers, so please get me up there, subscribe, and I will do an Aerie cosplay as a reward. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter @TheSundari. Follow me on TikTok @the_Sundari. And I will see you guys soon. Bye.